thought the 49ers early on would overtake the Rams and be the team in that division. Just had too many. They made too many good moves and had a lot. I like Garoppolo too. I think he's a good young quarterback, and they also had the other tools to go with him. But I kind of disagree with you a little bit on Baltimore. I wasn't surprised at all that they got beat. I just feel like that defenses in the league. I guess my thought was, John, that Baltimore really, bottom line, they were playing in National Football League with an old-fashioned Tennessee single wing tailback playing quarterback. And when you ask that guy to throw the ball 59 times in a ball game, you're gonna get beat by pretty much anybody. But I just I don't with a tailback playing quarterback and three tight ends, as you know, it's pretty tough to play against the defenses you're going to face in the National Football League, especially when they're going to stop the run. Well,
Yeah, I still have a lot of faith in three tight end offenses. I think even if you look at San Francisco, they're a very, very good run team. Now they're a little bit more conventional NFL type of runs, but they utilize multiple tight ends, and
yeah,
and I'm a fan of Jimmy Garoppolo as well, but they're completely different offensively than the Kansas City Chiefs for sure. But I really thought that Baltimore was capable. I think in this offseason they can probably surround Lamar with a few more threats at wide receiver, and I think they'll be right back there. So I actually like their style of offense, and I think it's really having coached defense most of my life. I think running the ball and play action pass off the run. I think the hardest thing for a defensive player is to distinguish the difference between run and pass, and the people that do that on offense, I think, are the best offenses.
well, I would agree with you. Certainly, you would know and have a feel for what was toughest. You've been through the gamut there, my friend. You've seen the elephant and heard the owl, so you know what you're talking about. What do you feel about how do you feel about the pass interference rule? I've been asked this question any number of times, and it's just the new rule this year. How do you feel about that, John?
Well, I honestly think it was screwed up long before they changed the rule this year. I think, we went through all it took to determine what a catch was, and I think we've gone through a lot in those 16 years of officiating meetings at the league meetings I went through as far as what's holding, what's not, what's pass interference, what's not. And I think the NFL league office in officiating has a lot of work to do, regardless of this year's rule. I'm going back to even before that on, what is interference, whether it's offensive or defensive. And, I think the biggest thing the league's looking for is consistency with officiating. I think they have a lot of work to do, regardless of what they do with the new rule this year, but in what constitutes pass interference, whether it's offensive or defensive. And, I think really our whole officiating crews in the league need to go to pass interference school, because there's a disconnect between what players and coaches think interference is and what officiating crews thinks it is.
I couldn't agree with you more. I really couldn't. And in fact, now what's really a pain in the gazoot is you cannot describe now what a catch is. For crying out loud, they've got to go
Right.
through the most minuscule frames of a replay to determine whether a guy made a catch or not. I mean, my God Almighty, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, okay, like I mentioned, up until a couple of years ago, I sat in 16 straight league meetings, and the officiating crews with 32 of the head coaches. and go through 50 snaps of plays, and you couldn't get agreement on what was offensive interference or what is passing interference or defensive pass interference (DPI). At the top of breaks, guys coming out of breaks, who the interference was on. In fact, I coached in a game once where the back judge had defensive pass interference and the side judge had offensive pass interference on the same play.
Yeah.
So whenever you have that inconsistency, there's issues, and I think they got to, like I said, regardless of what they do with the new rule this year, is kind of do a do-over.
Yeah, I agree. They certainly need to clean it up, and I think this is one of the problems that the NFL has that may be a little bigger than they think it is. But anyway, regardless, I need to jump ahead. My goodness, there's so many things I'd like to chat with you about. But for the sake of time, I'm going to jump to, and the draft is a little ways off, but as you know, the big controversy now, or not controversy, the topic of conversation is who gets Burrow, who gets Tua, how they're going to divide these quarterbacks. I understand Justin Herbert from Oregon is looking very, very good over at the Senior Bowl right now. So there's some quarterbacks. There are a few quarterbacks in the draft. Brown from Georgia, Eason from Washington, but nothing compares with Burrow. And Cincinnati's got the first pick. First question: do you see Cincinnati doing anything, even if somebody came along and gave them 3 number ones to trade up there? Do you see them doing anything other than taking Burrow?
Well, I think with like all decisions, and regardless of what they do, is if you think you have a generational type player, sometimes even those 3 ones. Now, I think it would be a huge mistake by anybody to give up 3 ones to move that far. I've never been an advocate of giving more than 1 first-round pick for a player, just because I think, any franchise understands that you build through the draft because you've got players for 4 to 5 years at a lower number than when guys hit free agency. So that's a lot of currency to give up. Even people that give up multiple first-round picks, even 2, for 1 player, if you go through NFL history, none of those really work out with a team that gave up 2 number ones over time. Again, you're talking about windows, and those windows are typically 3 to 5 years, for teams to maintain any kind of dominance over a period of time.
Right.
When you look at a team like New England and what they've been able to accomplish, they've not gone out and gotten big dollar free agents to speak of. They've built through the draft, and again, it's a little bit more about culture than it is about pure talent. They were able to win 12 games this year. Many people were critical of their talent level, in particular on offense. So, I think at the end of the day, what you need to do is just choose wisely. I mean, my philosophy is always to any first-round pick you took, they need to be a 10-year starter. And I think that helped me, be a head coach for 16 years and not 6 months. But you do have to choose wisely, and it's about people, and it's about personnel that you select, and not just even on the field all the time. It's what kind of teammate they are and what kind of leader they are, and the dynamics they contribute to the team. It's too early for me. I haven't really studied enough. I've seen bits and pieces of the people you're talking about, but at this stage, I think there's a lot of research that has to go on, and those are huge investments. So, those decisions, though, are going to determine how long they can stay at the top third of the league, not the bottom third.
I agree with everything that you said, John. Couldn't agree with you more. I think you can very easily mortgage the future of your franchise, getting over enamored with the draft. But this year is a little. I wouldn't even ask you a question like that because it takes so much inside knowledge and time to fully evaluate. You've got the combine, and you've got all the due diligence done on a high first round pick. But this is so evident with this Burrow kid. I've not seen a kid as ready to play as he is, and can in college could do all the things from a pre-snap look to looking off the safeties to the accuracy in the throws, the throwing through a window. We could go through a litany of things that he does,
right.
And he also has looks as though he possesses the intangibles, which we know, especially with the quarterback position, it's vital. And you've said that. I think we also know there's a kid up there at Ohio State that is a pass rusher that that's my next question to you. How do you feel about him? Because a lot of people feel he may be a generational type pass rusher.
Well, I do think that, like I mentioned, all the years I spent on defense, 28 in the National Football League, there's a variety of coverages, there's a variety of adjustments these quarterbacks got to make coming into the National Football League as far as the styles of coverages and the complexity of the coverages. But having said that, the best pass defense, not a particular coverage where somebody would run it every play, it's a pass rush. So anytime you can get a guy that creates that type of matchup that can, get to the quarterback in 3 or under seconds, that matchup is huge. And that is the best pass defense in the world, is a pass rush. It's how you affect the quarterback. And, with guys like Julius Peppers and Von Miller, back to first-round picks that, I've had the opportunity to be a part of, is those guys change games, and the games are won up front, on who blocks the best and who rushes the best. And in today's NFL game, you don't come across those guys all the time, and when they're there, you gotta strike.
Yeah, you bet, John. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time. I've gone probably a little more than you wanted me to, but it's always interesting to talk to you, and I'd like to be able to get with you again around, maybe after the combine and put a few pieces together, and if that's available.
Well, no, that's I'd always, it'd be a pleasure for me to do that, Kay. It's always great to talk with you, and you guys have a good rest of your day. And again, we're getting ready to be out of NFL football, but you're right. The XFL is lurking near down the future.
You bet. John, thanks so much.
You have a great day, Kay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
And that's former NFL coach John Fox right there. What a great interview. And we got to take a quick break, but we got another great interview coming up as Danny Sheridan, a sports analyst for USA Today, will join us. And it's going to be really fun. You don't want to miss out, so be sure to come right back with us. You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park. through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Hey, what up? Chad here from the Sports Drive. Well, 2020 national champion LSU Tigers got to visit the White House. And I'll tell you, the president had some valid points.
Looks sort of like a young Tom Brady. Does that make sense? It's young. We call him young Tom Brady.
And he said this.
Another coach that I respect a lot, his name is Bill Belichick.
President Trump did say this.
Say congratulations and go Tigers.
But more importantly, Coach O said this.
One team, one heartbeat. Go Tigers.
Sports Drive 5 to 7 right here on ESPN Pensacola.
Go Tigers.
Pros, whether you're updating properties you manage or building new construction, Lowe's can help you save. Because when you spend up to $1,000 or more on select vanities, faucets, toilets, and more during our bath event, you can get up to $250 back via Lowe's gift card rebate. And for everyday savings, stock up with 20% off PVC, CPVC, ABS, and copper pipe when you buy 10 or more. Whatever it takes to get the job done right, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Bath offer valid through 2/5 U.S. only.
Redbox has the movies you've been waiting to see, starting at under $2 a night. Now available at the box and streaming on demand. Joker. Don't miss Joaquin Phoenix deliver a thrilling and unforgettable portrayal of Gotham City's most infamous villain. Rent the newest movies fresh from the theater at Redbox. Just head to one of the 41,000 Redbox locations or stream instantly on demand. Prices may vary by location, subject to applicable taxes. Additional terms at redbox.com.
You're listening to Pensacola's home for hometown sports. ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. Just got off with the interview with John Fox. What a great interview. Any football fan should know who John Fox is. Has been in coaching, seems like forever. I mean, and he's done a fantastic job. Now he does NFL primetime, does a lot of stuff, around the NFL. Couple of things that, we're working right now to get Danny Sheridan on the line. This is a thing that, look, with John Fox, we talked about this, and if you're a Bengals fan out there, I don't know how you feel. Definitely call into the show and let us know on this whole Joe Burrow ideal situation for you. It's 850-623-1330 is the number. You can call or text our studio line right there. But listen, if you're the Dolphins and you have 3 first-round picks, do you trade up and try to get that number 1 pick from Cincinnati? That's the Cincinnati has a rebuild as well as Miami, but the one thing I have to say is if you have a guy in Joe Burrow that you think is going to be your guy for the next 10 years, I agree with you guys. I think that you don't mortgage that because too much can go wrong. First off, if you're thinking, well, you can get Tua, well, there's no telling somebody's going to trade up and try to get Tua as well. You put yourself in a bad situation. I think in the NFL, you take what you know and you run with it, especially with a talent that you believe is possibly ready to play right now in Joe Burrow. It's just tough. Anyway, a couple things. Around the league, Gary Kubiak is named the Vikings offensive coordinator. Gary Kubiak was an assistant to the Minnesota Vikings this year, so it's not a big surprise there to see him back in a role. Gary Kubiak is another guy that has been around quite a while. Another thing, Matt Rule wants Luke Kuechly. He's come out and said he wants Luke Kuechly to join his staff. Interesting, Luke Kuechly, retiring at a young age of 29 years old. A lot of people are like, oh, what's he doing? Well, I think he's taking the fact that he's healthy. He had a good career. He had a couple injuries, but he's healthy now, and it's a guy that's made his money. I'm sure he's very smart with it, and he wants to get into coaching. He said that, but he also wants to keep his options open, no matter if it be broadcasting or whatever. He's only 29 years old. He's got his whole future ahead of him. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport has reported that the Giants are going after another Dallas Cowboy, and No, it's not a player, but it's the offensive line coach, Mark Colombo. He wants to join Joe Judge's staff. They want him over there. Jason Garrett is now over there as well. Big Blue losing quite a few people right now, but a lot of things going on. We hear Eli Manning. Coach, I'll ask you real quick on the Giants situation. That's a solid move? Mark Colombo, respected guy in the NFL. He's put together some good offensive lines. But, it's one of those things that I think that for Big Blue, you lose them. But for the Giants, they're trying to rebuild right now. And that's where I think that it's so important to get guys that know what they're doing, that have proven themselves in the NFL, like the Dallas Cowboys have. And that's where I think Mark Colombo, it's a solid pickup for them right now. They've got a long way to go, but it's going to be interesting to see where this goes for the Giants. They have some pieces there. They've got talent. It's a matter of, can they put that defense together and put things together for the offense? So, Coach, I ask you.
I think Colombo's a good coach. I really do. I think to get the linebacker there as an assistant, defensive assistant, I think would be good, but not as a position coach.
Well, right now we got Danny Sheridan on the line here, Coach, and Sports Analyst USA Today, phenomenal. Coach, I know he's a good friend of yours as well. I'll let you take the reins on this one.
Yeah, well, it's always a real pleasure to have Danny on. A privilege, really. He's very, very busy, stays busy. And as you know, most of you, he sets the odds. Has always been one of the odds makers for football nationwide and I guess worldwide. But at any rate, Danny does us a favor of coming on, and we certainly appreciate it. And we got a couple of things, in fact, something a little new here we want to talk to him about. But thanks, Danny. Appreciate you coming on with us.
No, I appreciate you having me on, Kay. It's always a pleasure.
Well, listen, let's talk about your latest here, and then we'll get to a couple of questions I have about players and maybe even Super Bowl. But you've written, come up with something called 5 Rules of Super Bowl Betting.
Right.
Very interesting. Let's chat about that a minute. Maybe you feel like you can give them to us.
No, absolutely. It's in the January-February issue of Cigar Aficionado magazine. It'll be on the newsstands, I would imagine. Might be on there now in the next few days. And it's about a 2 or 3 page article. And it tells you how to bet the Super Bowl. And it's what I do. And I've been very lucky in picking the winner against the point spread. And I list about 5 rules, as you said, and some other information. And the reason for each rule. That's basically it. I think probably the most important one is you just pick the winner. And it was in USA Today, I guess. They took a snippet of it. It was in USA Today on Tuesday. But a lot of people get intimidated by the Super Bowl line, people that bet on the Super Bowl. And I pointed out that forget the line. I don't care what it is. In this case, it's like 1.5 or 1. That's very small. But if it were 7 or 10, it doesn't matter. You just pick the winner. And Kay, incredibly, it's incredible to me, the winner of the game has beaten the spread every game except for 6 times, and 3 times were a tie. So you're talking about out of 53 Super Bowls, 6 times the winner's won and not beaten the spread. So basically what I'm saying is just pick the winner. Don't worry about the spread. If you'd done that, you'd be 88% against the spread. And as you know, Kay, 57% against the spread, a success rate of 57% is excellent. So it's pretty simple, but just pick the winner. You could, 2 years ago, I thought Philadelphia had a real good team. They were on a roll, and they upset New England. They also beat the spread. And last year, New England was a favorite over the Rams, about a 2.5, 3-point favorite. And I thought New England would win, so I didn't let the spread intimidate me. And I picked New England, and they did win, and they covered, and I could go on and on and on. The last time, you'd have to go back 11 years, the last time the Super Bowl winner won the game and didn't beat the spread, that was 2009, Pittsburgh. They were 7-point favorite, and they beat Arizona by 4. But that was 11 years ago, and again, it's only happened 6 times out of 50-something Super Bowl, 53.
Yeah, I like
Pretty impressive to me.
Rule number 1, don't dread the spread. And
yeah, that was it. Don't worry about it. That's what I feel. And again, if they read the article, I don't get paid if they read the article, but if I don't get a commission on sales, but if they read the article and if they like Cigar Aficionado magazine, it's a good magazine, even if you don't smoke cigars. And it's all in there. It's got 5 rules, tells you why. And it sounds simple, but hell, it works for me.
Take care with the total is rule number 2. I'm going to kind of read these out for our listeners. I'm sure they're wonder what these rules are.
I'll give you a quick scenario.
Yeah.
On the total, if 2 offensive teams are playing, like last year you had the Rams and the Patriots, they were the 2 top scoring teams in the league. When I see 2 offensive juggernauts, I go under. When I see 2 defensive, stalwarts, I go over. Just the opposite. It sounds contrarian, maybe it is, but it's not meant to be. And I explain why you should do it, but that's basically that rule. And a lot of people think you're crazy. You know, hey, that's crazy if you do that. It works pretty good for me.
Yeah. And rule number 3, which I can certainly understand, a bad proposition bet. They've got a proposition bet on anything. The coin flip, how long the national anthem will be, you name it.
Right, no, like you said, the coin flip, which you really got to be sick to bet that, and the national anthem, how long it'll be, 2 minutes or whatever it is. So anyway, there are 500 props, and the public has won money betting props twice in the last 24 years, proposition bets. So I would, in that particular rule, I recommend do not bet prop bets, and if you do, you're crazy. I know one Super Bowl in the 80s, the public bet William the Refrigerator Perry score a touchdown, and he did. The odds were 12-1. There was so much bet on him. On the prop bet, it went to 2-1. Well, the public won a lot of money on that bet, but overall, in prop bets in that Chicago Bears Super Bowl, the public lost money. So what the public does generally every year in prop bets, they bet it over. In other words, hey, will the quarterback get 400 yards or 300 yards passing? Will so-and-so catch 5 receptions? And they always bet it over. And the only time they can win is if there's a huge scoring game, which, by the way, a couple of years ago they did win when, I don't have it in front of me, but it was 2 years ago, the Eagles and the Patriots. It was like 74 points were scored, which is unheard of for a Super Bowl. But yeah, if you think the Super Bowl is going to have the 2 teams to score like 75 or better, yeah, you could probably take a lot of props and go over. But other than that, you get your head handed to you.
Right. Now, rule number 4 here: respect the original line.
And basically, what that means, they reline the game, as you know, Kay, at halftime. You can make a halftime bet on the total, and you make a halftime bet on the line. They'll, if the score is 10-0 and the favorite's winning, they might make them a 4-point favorite for the second half, which means they're winning by 10. They'd have to win by more than 14. And what I basically said, it works for me on the halftime line. You just, whatever team at halftime that you think is going to cover the original line, you take them again. I don't care what they're winning 20-0 and they're an underdog, and the halftime line is even. That means they got to win by more than 20. You still take them again. And if you did that, you've won, like, I think, 23 of the last 26 Super Bowls. The halftime line, the team that beat the original line, beat the halftime line. And you have to make that decision at halftime. If it's on the spread, if somebody's a 7-point favorite and they're winning by 7 at halftime and you don't have an opinion, you pass. But that's the way I pick the halftime line.
Right. And last one, don't be a tease.
Well, it just basically says don't bet teasers. I mean, hell, what does the word tease mean?
Yeah.
Tease is it's a 6-point teaser. You can move the line. You could take, let's say the line, let's say is 1. It's really a 1.5. Kansas City, you could take San Francisco plus 7.5, 6-point teaser. And the over and under is 54, and you could tease it up to 60. But you got to win both sets of your teaser, both legs, and it's a 6-point teaser. And again, the word teaser, it's to tease or entice you. You got to be crazy to bet teasers, and only second to that would be betting parlays. Like parlay Kansas City in the over or something like that. You bet them straight. If you don't bet, I don't bet. But if you don't bet, I pick games for people that do. But if you do, if you have to bet, you just don't want to bet a parlay. You bet straight up. You lay 11-10 on the over and under and on the game. And about a third of a bookmaker's profits are from parlays. and I don't know how much is from teaser, but the name denotes that you shouldn't be playing either one. That's a garrulous answer. And if I could find somebody to bet me parlays every day in teasers, and it was legal. Well, Florida doesn't have, neither does Alabama. They don't have legalized sports betting, which is a mystery, but that's another topic. But if I could find somebody that would bet me parlays and teasers, I'd probably give up my business. If I had like a Fred Levin, can you talk to your friend Levin, see if he'd like to do that? I can give up my business and I'll just book him. I'll give him 25% of his winnings back, of his losses back. Anyway, you get the point.
I get the point. That's pretty strong. Listen, that's good advice for a lot of people out there. And I'm sure there's some people that we don't promote gambling or betting on this program, but let's face it, there are some people out there that do like to partake of that. So these are good things to remember.
Just to show you when you say promote. I'm not promoting gambling. Sports betting is out of the closet. Supreme Court ruled it legal in May of 2018. It's now legal for any state that wants it. And again, it's a mystery why, not with Alabama, but why Florida doesn't have it. Hell, Mississippi's got it. Georgia's talking about doing it. And it's just to show you how unbelievable the pin-up demand for people that want to bet, that don't bet with bookmakers, or don't bet with bookmakers offshore, or your local bookmaker. The money, New Jersey, which is, I wouldn't call that a big state, New Jersey took in, they started legalized betting June of 18, and through November, the last month of figures, I don't know what December was, they've taken in over $5 billion with a B in bets, legalized cash bets. I can't imagine what Florida would take in. There's so much betting in Florida, the bigger the state, and Georgia. Hell, Alabama's a pretty big betting state. Mississippi, to show you how popular it is, Beau Rivage opened their sportsbook, TAP, T-A-P, and they had like 7 windows in August 1st, 18. A year later, August 1st, 19, they spent $10 million, Kay. You know how pretty the Beau Rivage is.
Yeah.
Spent $10 million on a sports book. It's magnificent. And they didn't do it because they're paying out a lot of winning bets or because no one is betting. It's incredible. But anyway, sports betting is here. It's legal right now in 13 states. I think 6 or 7 more are considering it. Also legal in the District of Columbia. And it's only getting bigger. And I'm guessing in, I don't know, 3 to 4 years, when I said other states, 24 states have introduced bills to legalize sports betting, but they haven't passed. Probably the next 3 years, probably have maybe 25 states that would have it, have legalized sports betting, which is, it's frightening. And Morgan Stanley, which is pretty well respected. I could say they're in the betting business, betting on stocks, I guess, or investments, but not sports betting. They predicted sports betting in 5 years would be $216 billion industry. That's within 5 years. And maybe to put that in perspective, we all go to the movies. Last year, the movie sales, the box office sales, were $11 billion. And they're talking 216. Anyway, we'd beat a dead horse talking about it. It's crazy that people don't get a chance to vote on it, that the legislature in Florida and here and other places, they're going to protect us from Sodom and Gomorrah, I guess.
Well, that's true. Listen, I've got a number of things I'd like to get to. I don't know that we're going to have time to, but I do want to get you back on and follow up on some of this because we're not going to be able to get to it. But I do want to ask you about, I know that before the season, you were basically high on Georgia, not as high on LSU.
Right.
And
that's correct.
But
I
think
also Clemson and Ohio State up in Oklahoma because of their easy schedule.
Right.
But LSU was a surprise to me for sure. I mean, to win the national championship, they weren't a surprise. They had a good team, but they had an incredible run.
Well, it really was. You got to give a lot of credit to. You got to give a lot of credit to Coach O. I'm telling you, because
and his offensive and defensive coordinator Brady and Moran.
Well, I think that's part of the credit you give to him. One, he went out and got that quarterback from Ohio State, Burrow. And then, realizing the talent that he had there, he went out and got the people who could take advantage or give him the system that would fully take advantage of his talent. He got Brady to come in, got him to work with Ensminger. and they put it together, utilize those receivers that they had. They got some good receivers, and they put together something that's never been done in college football before. And I don't know, maybe duplicated one day, but it's going to be very, very difficult to duplicate that.
It'll be interesting to see who they get as a quarterback, whether they go with a transfer or one of their young kids. Alabama's pretty set with Mac Jones, and they're bringing in some quarterback from the West Coast who's supposed to be the best quarterback ever. And Georgia, I guess they'll go with it. They're hoping to go, I can't remember, if it's Wake Forest or one of those schools, transfer court. The transfer portal has saved a lot of coaches. Look at Ohio State. Take away their quarterback, they're in trouble. Yeah. Take away Clemson's quarterback, they're in trouble, but he's not a transfer portal. Right. And look at LSU. They could never have had that season, as you know, without him. But different landscape now in colleges. You had some questions about the SEC?
It really is. Well, I understand Georgia got a commitment from their quarterback of the future. He won't be there until next year. But what I heard from a pretty reliable source, somebody that knows what they're talking about, is that in all likelihood he'll be their starting quarterback in 21.
Right, that's probably true.
So
you better get a good starting quarterback in 20, and so should LSU, and Alabama will have a good quarterback, either Mac Jones or that kid that's coming in. I think he's already enrolled in school.
I like the Jones kid. I think the Jones kid is a good quarterback.
He's a great quarterback. Did everything he was asked to do against Auburn, and it wasn't his fault. The defense, my God, let him score 40-something points. To be interested in Florida, it's another thing too. Mullen, obviously, as you know, has done a great job. But man, I didn't. Now they're really expecting him to do well, and I don't know what kind of team they got. I know the quarterback, they'll be set. He gets injured. I don't know. I can't think of the guy's name. It's I can't remember his name. My mind went blank. The quarterback. I thought he was going to Emory Jones or someone like that. And I thought he was going to step up and play, but he hadn't.
No, I'll tell you what,
this voice is transferring.
Yeah, this kid they've got there now. I'm telling you, I think he has given them solid quarterback play. He certainly leveled it off. With that guy they had there before was a peaks and valley, up and down type guy.
Right, Franks. Right, yeah. Felipe Franks. I think he transferred to someone. But you're correct. But if he gets injured, I don't know what's behind him. And that's one quarterback away from having a good season.
Well, that's
up
true.
Or down, depending if you lose minutes. It's life in college football. What do you think about hiring? Other than to be rather colorful press conferences, hiring Leach, which I think is a good hire, and Kiffin, which I think also is a good hire at Mississippi State.
They probably both.
Mississippi.
Yeah, they probably both made good hires there. I think Leach is an excellent hire because at Mississippi State you're not going to recruit to the extent that you're going to be able to be big enough and strong enough and fast enough to get out there and bully around other teams in the SEC. So you got to be able to do the things that you do, like Bill Peterson did years and years ago at Florida State. You got to be able to throw the football, and he will give them that ability. I'm not as sure. I'm not as sure about the Ole Miss situation. To be honest with you, I think they probably made a good hire, but I think there are more question marks there than at that Mississippi State. Danny, we're up against a break here.
One thing, I'm right. Kiffin, one of his decisions, this supposedly, he looked pretty good. Kiffin's inheriting a really good freshman. Played this year, I guess it'd be a sophomore. He's a good quarterback, and so Kiffin should be able to develop him. So Matt Luke didn't leave the cupboard there, and Kiffin has a good team. Leach does not have a good team, but you're right. He'll have a wide open offense, and he'll attract a lot of receivers and quarterbacks that like that style. Hell, he wanted Washington State. They're horrible when he got there.
Yep.
He wanted Texas Tech. They were really terrible.
Yep.
And he's got more to work with, I think, at Mississippi State.
I would agree with you, my friend. Listen, we've got a million things to talk about. I'm going to have to run, but I appreciate your time, Danny. I really do. And
always a pleasure.
And
always a pleasure.
Look forward to getting this back on tap here. So thanks a million.
We'll stir them up. Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And that's Danny Sheridan right there, the sports analyst for USA Today, as well as an odds maker. A very awesome phone call right there, especially for you bettors. Listen, we got to take a break. You listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Dude, it's game day, and I'm fired up that football is back.
I know, but I'm bummed they don't show my favorite team on TV around here.
All right, well, what about that place Calvert's? They're a really cool English pub-style restaurant, and they have a really good drink menu.
Yeah, but what about the game?
Don't worry, they have the NFL Sunday ticket and plenty of TVs, so we can watch any game that we want.
Ooh, I just looked at the menu, and that Abbey Road burger is calling my name.
Calvert's in the Heights Restaurant and Bar, 3102 East Cervantes Street, calvertsintheheights.com.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range, Highway 29 in Car City.
You're listening to Pensacola's home for hometown sports. ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. Coach, we got about a minute and a half left here. One thing I want to ask you is Eli, he's retiring. He's announcing his retirement tomorrow. Coach, in your mind right now, is Eli a Hall of Famer?
Well, that's a good question. I think the world of the guy is his brother and his family and his dad. I've known his dad, Archie, for many, many years, and just have the greatest respect for that whole family. I wish I could say undoubtedly yes. I really can't. In all honesty, I can't do that. I think it's going to be a close call, a very close call. Now, he did win 2 Super Bowls there with the Giants and played a number of years. I'm not sure. I don't have all the stats and how he stacks up stat-wise with other people and what reporters would be looking at, our voters that would be looking at. I do know the 2 Super Bowls are strong, but he was never the player that his brother was, Peyton. And it's going to be close. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, I agree. It's good. They gave him a 70% chance to make the Hall of Fame, and he finished his career 117 and 117. But anyway, Coach, pleasure today as always.
We had a very interesting day. Have a big day tomorrow, too.
Absolutely. With John Fox and Danny Sheridan, we thank you guys. And for our listeners out there, be sure to tune in tomorrow. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
The only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The Vikings named Gary Kubiak as the team's new offensive coordinator. He was an assistant head coach to Mike Zimmer this season. Kubiak is also the former head coach of the Texans and the Broncos, with whom he won Super Bowl 50. Police in Hollywood, Florida issue an arrest warrant for wideout Antonio Brown. He faces felony burglary and other charges. Brown allegedly threw a rock at a moving company truck and then assaulted the driver. Will Brown ever play again? ESPN's Adam Schefter.
From a football standpoint, it's hard right now to see him playing in the NFL again. It's hard right now. He'll be 32 years old this summer. We're waiting a ruling from the league, which will take into consideration all these additional incidents.
Adam Schefter on Get Up. The NCAA Board of Governors plans to meet in special session to work on expanding its sexual violence policy. After meeting at the NCAA convention this week, the organization plans to talk further about the rules for players transferring after being suspended or expelled for sexual assault.
Coming up, it's a Big Man Friday and a big day for one Eli Manning, and we'll love it or shove it. Plus, we all love an underdog, and we love them even more in the Super Bowl. And we've got the 10 best Friday on Golic and Wingo, 6 Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN 2.
Your take on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. ESPN News. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. I'm Jason Fitz. All guests and you appear on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. The question we're asking, who had the better career, Eli or Big Ben? You can tweet me also, at Jason Fitz, hashtag First Take. We have a poll out there on Twitter and on Instagram. You can vote either one. Right now, Big Ben winning overwhelmingly. 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776 is the way that you can get in on the conversation and give us your thoughts. You can also tweet us at Jason Fitz is another good way to get in on the conversation. We'll get some of those tweets in. We'll get some of your reaction coming in as we go through. By the way, one tweet, very good one here, came from Wayne Stanfield, said, "You're so lucky I'm at work, couldn't hold on any longer. But you said earlier no one was worried about seeing Eli in the regular season." I did say that. Said it wasn't a single team that wanted to see Eli in the playoffs, ever. That's a great argument. That is Straight Talk. But let's get to some Straight Talk brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless